Hey there guys, welcome to the meat shop. Today we're doing a video by request of Billy Ed's on how to make the bacon egger sausage. Bacon egger sausage is it's kind of like a breakfast sausage that we sell in the store. So I'm going to give you the recipe, the technique, and everything else you need down below. So let's get to it. Okay guys, this is the bacon egger sausage. So if you've seen some of the other videos, this is a fresh sausage we make for the store. You have to cook this guy. It's not smoked or anything like that, so we won't be using cures. So the steps are essentially pretty straightforward. The only thing is we got a couple different things we're going to add in that are maybe non-typical. We've got some fried eggs, some cheese, and some bacon ends. So those things give you a different texture profile in the end product. What is the bacon egger sausage? It's a sausage that we created here at the shop. It's basically ham-flavored pork with bits of dry-cured bacon, cheddar cheese, and fried eggs. And how I usually recommend customers cook it is fried up and throw it on a McMuffin bun for breakfast. They're pretty popular, one of the more popular ones in the store. So we'll get into it. I'm making mine out of lean ground pork shoulder. This is 2 kilograms fine ground pork that I did up ahead of time and set aside. I have some bacon ends. If you make your own bacon, save these guys for sausages like this and making your own bacon bits and stuff. If not, you can get bacon ends from grocery stores or local butcher shops. Then I just fried up a couple of eggs ahead of time. I'll give you the recipe so you guys know the amounts of things, the ratio to meat for all this stuff. Just fried up some eggs, farm fresh eggs from a local little guy up the road here. Salt and pepper. I have some cheese. This is the kind of ribbon cheese slices, so they come off in pieces. This stuff is probably the best for making sausage. I mean, if you guys want to use aged cheddar or mozzarella or whatever your favorite is, go ahead. But I find that the cheap cheese slice peel stuff is the best for sausage making because you get cheese pockets, it doesn't cook, and it doesn't run out. You can buy what's called high melt cheddar, but it's way more expensive. It's like double the price of this stuff, and you can get this stuff at any wholesale foods location. So that's some of the stuff you'll need. We'll need a grinder because we're going to grind the bacon up and the eggs and get the two texture. You can stuff with a grinder, but I'm going to stuff with a stuffer. I'm going to stuff mine into 2932 natural hog casings, and just a little area to work at. A little bowl to mix in, and we'll dive into the recipe. So the recipe for you guys is, and this is a simple one. Like I said, there's not going to be too many steps. We're just going to mix the spices into the pork, grind the bacon onto the pork, chop the egg up, and then run it all through the grinder one more time. But the recipe for the bacon egger sausage is salt at 18 grams per kilogram, pepper 1.5 grams per kilogram, brown sugar 3.5 grams per kilogram, California ham spice 1 gram per kilogram. Like I've mentioned in some of my other videos, California ham spice is a little bit of it's a pre-mixed spice kind of thing. It's salt, a little bit of spices, sugar, and cinnamon kind of thing, so it's really aromatic. Then we add Frank's Red Hot Sauce at 5 grams per kilogram, because that's what I like putting on my eggers, so I decided to put it in this recipe and it works really good. Binder, 10 grams per kilogram. Fried eggs, 2 fried eggs per kilogram of meat. So I guess that's 1 egg per pound, basically. 200 grams of bacon ends per kilogram, and 100 grams of cheddar cheese. But before we mix all that into this, I'm going to run these bacon ends through the grinder here once. Then I'll mix the spices in and chop the egg up, mix it all together except for the cheese. Cut the cheese up, and we'll run it through the grinder for a last time. I'm going to run the bacon through here. You want to run it through a coarse plate. This is a fine ground pork shoulder, or some, fine ground pork, whatever you got. You want the fat ratio to kind of be 15 to 25%. Because the bacon ends are going to be a little fatty too, so they're going to add some fat content to your end sausage. But you want to run the bacon through a coarse grind because it gives you a texture difference at the end, which is really nice. and then you can see the bits of bacon juxtaposed against the fine ground pork. It looks really good. So I'll just run this stuff through. Always keep the meat nice and cold. Oops. Comes out like little bacon bits. These bacon ends grind up real easy, which is nice. Get them to go in. All right. So there's our ground up little bits of bacon. Set my spices aside. Okay. Then we'll just chop our fried. I cooled the eggs down. Everything should be cold when you're working with meat. This stuff come right out of the fridge, so. Chop the eggs up a bit. I guess you could scramble them if you really wanted to. I usually run them through my big grinder, so they just get ripped apart during the process. And I'm doing a 2 kilogram batch here today, guys, so I usually operate in grams per kilogram, but 2 kilograms is just about 4.5 pounds, 4.4 pounds. Add that guy there. Make sure we get it all. Nice fresh ground pork. Okay, so I got all the meats, the bacon, pork, and eggs in there. Now I'm going to add our spices. So add a little salt. Add our black pepper. Add our brown sugar. Add our California ham spice. So that there is basically ham sausage. Salt, black pepper, California ham spice, brown sugar. Then we add a little bit of Frank's Red Hot. I use the original. You can use buffalo or whatever hot sauce you like. Or you could get away with probably just adding cayenne and vinegar. A little bit of water. That's going to help us distribute the spices. I usually use water at 10%. So 100 milliliters per kilogram, and our little bit of binder to hold this whole concoction together. And then, same as always, guys, you want to make sure you get a nice, even, thorough mix. All the spices are evenly distributed, and your eggs and bacon are distributed evenly. You don't want to just, a big mouthful of bacon is actually always pretty good, but you want to distribute this as evenly as possible. And you're going to mix until everything is good and sticky. You guys have seen me do that before, so I'll come back once I've achieved the protein extraction that I want. Okay there, guys, I've been mixing for a couple minutes now, and the test is, does the meat mixture stick to your hand? Spread your fingers out. If it sticks, you've mixed it enough. That is adequate protein extraction. All the bacon is distributed evenly. The eggs are distributed evenly. It smells really good. You can smell the Franks. So that's our meat mixture there. You can see the little eggs in there. And usually I'm using my big grinder. I've never actually made this with my little tabletop guy. So I don't think I'm actually going to run it through this again. I ran that bacon through here once, and I see all the chunks are broke up nice and good. I usually run it through again, but I'm actually just going to chop the cheese up into little bits. You want to make sure that it's the cheese and anything else that's solid is small enough to fit through your grinder or your stuffer horn. So I'm just going to cut them up into little itty bitty cubes, add them in, and mix. And I don't have to run it through my grinder and make a sticky mess out of my grinder. So I'll do that and be right back. Okay there, guys, I got the cheese all chopped up. Like I said, I use 100 grams per kilogram, but if you guys are big cheese fans, you can go, I've done sausages all the way up to 250 grams per kilogram. It kind of starts to affect your end texture at that point though, because there's so much cheese and cheese is so soft. It's hard to get a good snap on a casing. But they're really cheesy and really juicy and really good. So if you like cheese, you can use up to 250, but today I'm using 100 grams per kilogram. And I've chopped these into little itty bitty cubes so that they fit through my stuffing horn. And they're the slices, so they'll actually break up into other little cubes. So I'll just give them a quick toss into the sausage, and we'll load it up into the stuffer and stuff up our bacon egger breakfast sausages. Okay guys, I got that cheese tossed around in there and mixed up, thoroughly evenly distributed. So at this point, it's this, you know the gig. Get that stuffer loaded up and pound out the air pockets. So you don't have to do as much poking and stuff later on. I'll load that up and then we'll get to the stuffing. Okay guys, I've brought the camera in to get a little better angle of the stuffing. And like I said, you want to pound those air pockets out. I'm using 2932 natural hog casings. You guys have seen that before. Just get them soaking, rinse the salt off, get them soaking for half hour or whatever before you get started. And you want to fill the inside of the casing up with water and flush out any remaining salt and lube it up so it's easier to get on the horn and fill your sausages up. So I usually just, can't see them off camera, but I usually just put 2 fingers in, scoop up some of the water that it's been soaking in until you got a little pocket of water. You guys probably know this. And I run it through. Horn wet. And loader on. Okay, sausage casing's on there, so I usually just leave a little bit off the end, and using the pinch technique, kind of one hand underneath, other hand on top, applying the pressure to fill it up. And I'm using a 2932 millimeter, guys, but you could use whatever size casing you want. If you want to make these into little skinny breakfast sausages, you could use a 19 or 22 millimeter collagen casing, or you could stuff them into the great big fibrous ones and cut them into patties. But yeah, you can see them bits of cheese in there, little bits of egg. And when you're stuffing, you know, periodically check. You want to be able to pinch about 1/4 of the way through so that you can link them when we're done, as always. Sometimes a little bit bigger chunks of cheese and egg and stuff, you're gonna kind of, it's inevitable you're gonna have some air pockets. We'll just go ahead and poke them out afterwards. Gotta be, there we go, at the end. So I'll usually just pull a little bit off, get a little bit to play with the end, nick it, get this out of the way, we'll do some linking, and you guys will have yourselves some bacon egger breakfast sausage. Okay, so you guys see the, you know, little bits of cheese and stuff in there, and little bits of egg, and smells really good. And I usually link these guys into a little bit shorter ones if I'm doing them for breakfast, so 3.5 or 4 inches. You can cut them in half or butterfly them and put them on a McMuffin bun with a little bit of butter, or have them beside a pancake or whatever you guys like for breakfast. Let me know what you like having for breakfast with your breakfast sausages. And so yeah, like you guys probably seen other videos, but I'll pinch, go about 3-4 inches, pinch, spin. Now 3-4 inches pinch, go down 3-4 inches, spin towards myself 3 times. So I'm only spinning every other one. Pinch, 3 down, pinch, spin towards yourself. Spin towards yourself. Spin towards yourself. Then I'll just go cut between all the links. And I usually stick mine in the freezer, unpackaged for a half hour, 45 minutes or whatever, so that they firm up, and then I'll vacuum package them all. But that's the bacon egger sausage, guys. Then you know, you just throw this on a skillet or over a grill, whatever you want. But it's delicious. It's a big seller in our meat shop. It's a good way to use up bacon ends. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you make it home, let me know how it turns out. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and we'll make more videos at your guys' requests. We'll give you all the recipes. We'll share them one by one. So, thanks. Thanks guys for watching. Take care.